Hey everyone, I am Sharanya, also known as Mrs. Explorer, and welcome to my channel where we talk all things travel, food, and lifestyle. Malaysia is one of the best food destinations in the world, and so this episode 4 of Malaysia series is dedicated entirely to food. In this episode, you will see some of the must try food items when in Malaysia, and I'll take you through breakfast, lunch, and dinner options in cafes, restaurants, and food streets so that we cover it all. So, this is how it goes. Your flight landed early in the morning, you're still hours away from check in, so you need a cozy cafe to go for breakfast. That is when you stumble upon the Lost and Found Cafe, which is a popular hidden cafe in Kuala Lumpur, known for its cozy atmosphere, creative brunch dishes, and their specialty coffee. They are open from 7 a.m., thus making it a perfect choice for an early morning breakfast. It's located near Jalan Impi, which is a busy food district, and I'll leave the address in the description box. Now it's time to order your meal, and the friendly owner of the cafe recommends you a kaya toast, shakshuka, and some specialty coffee or kopi, like they call it. This is as good as Malaysian breakfast can get. Kaya toast is one of the most iconic breakfast foods in Malaysia, and it is also popular in some of the other Southeast Asian countries. Kaya toast is made from toasted bread spread with kaya, which is a coconut jam, and then served with generous amounts of butter. When the hot toast melts the butter into the kaya, it creates a rich, sweet, and slightly creamy flavor. And if you're a French toast lover, you're gonna love this. If you're not game for a sweet breakfast, they'll also have many savory options like the shakshuka we had here. And for bonus, this space includes books, playful artwork, and small details which will not make you want to leave this cafe. Now settle in, do some sightseeing, and when it is time for lunch, go to a nearby hawker stall or a small restaurant. Lunch in Malaysia is very diverse because the country blends Malay, Chinese, and Indian cuisines. A must try dish is the nasi lemak, which is coconut rice served with spicy sambal, anchovies, and sometimes chicken or beef. If you're looking for something simple, you can always order an ayam goreng meal, which comes with Malaysian fried chicken, rice, anchovies, sample, and some salad. That's breakfast and lunch, and now how can we not talk about dessert? And the chances are that after a spicy sambal meal, you will need one. So this time I'm going with sendol, which is again a very popular Southeast Asian dessert. It is a sweet iced dessert that is very refreshing in hot tropical weather. Sindol is made of green jelly noodles made from rice flour and pandan leaves that gives it that green color and served with coconut milk, palm sugar syrup and shaved ice. Give it all a good mix before having because the palm sugar syrup often resides towards the bottom of the glass. Next up, let me introduce you to the Chinese roti, and this might be a great snack when you are in Malaysia. These are pancakes made from wheat dough, scallions, minced or shredded meat, and pan fried until crispy. These are super flaky and super filling, and make sure you eat it from a Chinese joint. We've had breakfast at cafes and lunch at restaurants. Now, for dinner, it's time to head to a vibrant food street. This is Jalan Alor, which is a lively night food market which really comes alive around 5 to 6 pm and goes on until late night. Here you will see long rows of street food stalls and many plastic tables filling the street. You will see bright neon restaurant signs everywhere and will be spoiled for choice. Jalan Alor is one of the best places in Kuala Lumpur to try many Malaysian foods in one street. If you're adventurous enough, you can try this fruit called durian, which is infamous for its pungent smell, but some people love its taste despite the smell. This tiny shop was pulling quite a crowd, and I was curious to see what it was all about. This place was selling the viral jiggly souffle pancakes from Japan and also those egg waffles, and everything here was super cute. I ordered a blueberry jiggly pancake and it had 15 to 20 minutes of prep time. So we decided to go around, check out some of the other stalls, and come back just in time to receive this. Also, while you're here, don't forget to try satai, which are grilled skewers of meat served with a tasty peanut sauce. Time just flies when you're in Jalan Alor, and it was already past 15 minutes, so we decided to go back for our pancakes.
진짜 너더 달라 그래. 하나 더 달라. 아, 여기 빼나, 여기 빼나, 여기 빼나. 아니, 더 달라 그래. 와,
That was an experience in itself, and Jalanalore is going to be your favorite when you are in Kuala Lumpur, and you'll end up coming here multiple times. Next up is this cafe that we bumped into while we were strolling across the KL Central Market area. So, this is a cafe that has been mentioned in the Michelin Guide from 2016 till 2021. The Michelin surely lured us in, and once we went inside, we saw that this is a typical Malaysian bakery. So they had a lot of desserts. I don't know if I would even call it desserts, but yeah, these are Malaysian version of desserts, and these are some of the things that I've never seen in any part of the world, and I was so confused as to what to order from here. The owner told us that the rice bowl cakes are the most popular ones and the ones featured in the Michelin list, so we decided to get this. It actually looks like a rice bowl and is also made of rice flour. So there is a lot of rice influence in Malaysia. So this is rice flour, sugar, plus all those beads that you're seeing are red beans. It was so difficult to eat with that plastic spoon, and we did not like the taste much. And now we understand the difference between Michelin star and Michelin guide. Kuala Lumpur has a lot of cultural significances, and you don't have to limit yourself to Malaysian food all the time. Malaysia has plenty of options in the Mediterranean cuisine, and you can also give it a try. We've previously tried Damascus from Dubai and we knew it was very good. And here, when we saw it in Malaysia again, we had to give it a try. We ordered their shawarmas, and even though the waiting time was quite high, I must say it was worth it. That's all about Kuala Lumpur, and now let's move towards the island parts of Malaysia like Langkawi. In Kuala Lumpur, while the meals were inclined towards meat, in the island parts you will see that the cuisine will lean towards seafood, live fish, and so on. So while we were in Langkawi, we went on a boat tour, and during that time we went to a floating restaurant which was particularly known for their live fish and grills. You can opt for any of the fish that they have, and they will do a live grill in front of you. And if you don't want a live grill experience, you can simply order from many of the seafood items that they have in the menu. When it is a long trip, you might not always be in the mood to try out all the new Malaysian cuisines. Sometimes you want some of those comfort food that you have, and in Malaysia you will find plenty of continental, American, and Indian cuisine. Malaysia again surprised us with this Wagyu burger, which is again one of the best that we have ever had. Last but not the least, I also want to give a shout out to some of the buffet menus that we've had in the hotels that we stayed. Usually, when we travel to a different country, we don't see as much of a regional influence as we saw here. So, this menu was not just your eggs or bread or other breakfast, this had proper Malaysian, Japanese, and a lot of Southeast Asian influences. Honestly speaking, I would have tried more Malaysian dishes through this buffet than all the restaurants and cafes that I've visited. And a great thing about buffet is that you can always try small portions of everything that you want to try, so that in case you don't like something, you don't end up wasting a lot of food. This particular video is from the buffet menu of Dash Resort Langkawi. So this is the resort that we stayed in. We absolutely loved it, and I'll be soon making a video about it. I hope this video was helpful, and now when you plan a trip to Malaysia, you won't have to end up eating at McDonald's or at their 7-Elevens all the time. Having said that, visiting the McDonald's and 7-Elevens in every country is a cultural experience in itself. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, do drop a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Mrs. Explorer for more travel content. See you in the next video. Until then, bye.